There we go. I'm recording now. So welcome everyone. I'd like to introduce Miranda Smith. Welcome, Miranda.
Hi.
Hi. So Miranda is our guest for the second podcast. And Miranda owns a home care agency is that correct? For aged care?
Yep.
Home care secret?
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? It's you're an agency. Give us the kind of brief of what your business does.
Yeah, basically people come to us looking for carers to help them in their own homes. So yeah, we recruit, but we continue to provide the service and manage it all the way through.
And you've got offices in Auckland, Tauranga, Christchurch and Wellington?
Hawke's Bay and
Hawke's Bay as well. Awesome. And so Miranda fits into the Icehouse bubble because you did the Owner Manger Programme back in 2009.
Yeah, showing my age. Yeah.
She was 16 when she did the Owner Manager Programme. No, and you've done a bit with us over the years. I think you've done some coaching and a few other things, but also you're on the advisory board for the Icehouse. Oh, we're through. Yeah, good. So the reason we've asked you here, other than that you're a fantastic business owner, is also because the industry that you're in has been affected, but also when you did the Owner Manager Programme, GFC hit, and we felt like that has some current topic that kind of overlaps onto the COVID situation. So yeah, welcome and thanks so much for spending a bit of time with us today.
Thanks for having me.
It's good. So where are you now? Give us you're in one of your...
I'm based in Hawke's Bay, and I have been working from home the majority of the time, but I am in the office today because I have 3 boys and a husband all draining the internet. So it was safe to come here, and I've got a whole lot of carers picking up some PPE later, so it just sort of worked quite well to be in a nice, quiet, rather white environment.
I feel like you're gonna do some kind of like hangman or maybe behind you or something like that.
Yeah, there was actually a little bit of schoolwork up here before.
Oh, good.
Just trying to work out my children's maths.
I've got a 3-year-old, and I said to my wife yesterday, I'm not looking forward to when they come home with algebra and things like that because I'm not the person to help out.
I've got a 13-year-old, 12-year-old and 9-year-old boys, and the 13 and 12, you're sort of like, surely you can get online and ask your teacher that, don't come near me. Yeah, I left school when I was 16, so I'm hardly the right person to ask.
And so that kind of goes on nicely. Give us you started your business when you were, what did you say, 19, I think?
22. Well, I sort of came up with the idea when I was 22. I went overseas and, lots of people were working, lots of New Zealanders and Australians and South Africans used to do home care over there to make money and then go travelling. And I tried it and was really bad at it. So I got a job with the woman who had her own agency. And so I worked for her for probably 2 years, most of my time over there. And then, learned everything from her. Came back, lay on the beach in Taupo for probably 3 months before my parents were like, what are you going to do? and it literally just sort of came out of my mouth. I'm just going to start a home care agency, How 22, how hard can it be? You've just got no concept really.
And was it hard? It was quite hard?
Yeah. So that was my sort of, that's how I got into it. I literally just, blurted it out one day. It wasn't a plan I'd been working on and it was quite an unusual choice. I wouldn't have thought when I was at school or when I was younger, I was going to, spend the majority of my life looking after, others. Yeah. And
now you've got children as well that you have to look after, but hopefully they'll...
maybe I don't pay as much attention to them. I've been really lucky because I started the business so young that, it kind of grew with me and my family.
Yeah.
3 children, husband, and...
Did it grow fast? Was it quite a rapid, 22?
Yeah, like I was thinking about this the other day. It grew on... based on what my focus was at the time. So I'm definitely, you know, when I was having the children, they came to the office with me, and I took time off, but I carried on working, but I wasn't probably as focused on growing the business. You know, that was quite a special time. I find it quite important. So yeah, look, it did grow fast. It took a year. My first client for the first year had dementia, and I thought he would tell everyone about me, but I don't know that he really remembered who was caring for him. So it was a really big learning curve that first year. And then I just worked really hard at making lots of connections, and, you know, doctors and community organisations like Alzheimer's and that. And I just built it from that. And probably in year 2, year 3, it really grew some legs. No one else was doing it in Auckland. So, you know, it was a really good time to start.
And so did you have staff, or did they kind of contract to you, the people that then you got on board?
Everyone, all my carers were independent contractors right up until probably 6 years ago, we employed them all. So it was quite a great model to start a business on, you know, having contractors and being able to provide them work when you had work. And yeah, it was probably just a different, you know, it was a different world back then. And now, you know, the employment model suits us way more. Yeah. Just being bigger and needing to have that, you know, a little bit more structure. And yeah.
How many staff do you have now?
About 280.
Woo!
Yeah. So I have Miranda Smith Homecare, and then I have Karatani, which is another business. So we look after newborn babies right through to end of life care. Just really spread myself across the range. Yeah, but it's out in the community. I have 30 staff in the offices, 32.
Yeah.
That's how we speak most of the time. Yeah.
And how's COVID affected business? You said about the safety wear that you got the guys picking up today. Has that been easy to get?
Yeah.
PPE.
Look, we're a private agency, so we're really lucky in that the clients that come to us generally like quite, you know, big packages of care, and so we've had a real model, which we've always had, but we really have tightened during COVID. Of 95% of our staff only go to one client, and about 4% go to 2, and we've probably only got 1% of our staff actually going to 3 clients, and they might be people that they've looked after for a long time. So that's sort of 3 bubbles.
Yep.
So the PPE, it's been really interesting. We got it quite early. We bought it quite early to make sure we had it. But you know, a lot of our carers are not wearing it. You know, their bubble is with their client and their families. So there's a very high trust model there, and it's still available here. Sometimes they come to pick it up, but it hasn't. Yeah, I think if you're going to lots of different homes, that's when it's probably more important.
Yeah, because you're moving around and going to more chance of infection.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And so when you did the Owner Manager Programme, that was in 2009, did your GSC hit through at the beginning of the programme, or was it throughout? Yeah.
I think I signed up for it in 2008 thinking, oh God, this is such a lot of money. What am I doing it for? Things are tracking along really well, what could possibly go wrong? And by the time we started it, the whole Auckland market had really, it just went from here down to there. We were more then probably a bit of a luxury item. Now it's more a necessity, but in 2009, it was, so those that could afford it would use it, and suddenly that got really, really tight. And Wellington and Christchurch were probably towards the end of 2009, it's really impacted. So it sort of spread out. We almost went through the region. So when I hit that first session of OMP, I was pretty stressed, and I just really couldn't believe it. I was 33. I still thought I was quite young, and I was just like, what's happened here? I've never not had growth. I'd had 10 years of growth on growth.
Yeah.
So it comes as a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
Something's going wrong, and how do you fix it? So it was just the best timing for me. Probably more ideal if I'd done it before it, but to be in it and to have all that support and knowledge was pretty amazing. Yeah.
We've done 50 of them now. We've got the 50th Owner Manager Programme. I've been working at the Icehouse for 3 years, so I think I've been through nearly 10 or so, 11. And the people that we speak to now are very thankful that they have done it. A lot because they're prepared and they're upskilled, but also the network that they have. You obviously stay in touch with the people that you went through the program with.
Yeah. And I think also, for me, I was pretty unprepared for anything like that. And when the first session we had, I remember, I only had an accounts person, and quite clearly I had no idea what my business was doing financially. I could read a P&L and I could see how much cash was in the bank, and it was less and less every day. But, after that first session, the first thing I did was employ an in-house accountant, Joe, who is still with me now. And so, today's, issues and concerns, we were going through 11 years ago. So it was that things like that can really make a massive difference if you are in a position where suddenly your business isn't tracking as well as it was.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like I feel very lucky in my role because I get to meet people like you every day I meet you because you've done the program, but then when I'm talking to people who haven't and they get to where you were in 11 years and you've grown a business on your own from a 22-year-old over 10, 11 years, and then you've done well because, the turnover it has to be a certain level. And you didn't even have an accountant.
I didn't have an accountant. I think they were more in shock than I was. And I was like, oh no, I'm totally over this stuff. But, I didn't have a budget. I'd never done a forecast. I couldn't have read a balance sheet. You could have put it in front of me and I was like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. You start businesses, and in those days it was really, fake it till you make it. It was pretty easy to do that. But, when I got to OMP, I really realised how actually unprepared I was for any kind of disaster, and actually how my business wasn't going as well as it should have been because of my lack of, expertise around me. I think I just thought I knew everything, so I didn't really need anyone else. And it was a good size. So, I had a lot of staff and I was, trucking along. So when you suddenly hit a bump in the road and that falls away really quickly, you realise how exposed you are with your receivables, with, all of those little things that make a huge, I was probably overstaffed in the office. We were very top heavy and something like, well, this is not a lean or, a business that should be doing as well as, could be doing as well.
But you were in a room with 25 other business owners, and what I find crazy is that people in that room look at you and think, oh goodness, I wish I'd done things like Miranda. And you look at them who have got an accountant in place and have got all of the structure and know all of that, and you're envious of them, but they're envious of you. And actually, you all do things slightly differently, but actually having the format to actually share the things that you do and how you do them is helpful.
Yeah, it was pretty, it was really daunting. It was 23 men and 2 women.
Yeah.
And, I thought everyone was bigger, better. I walked into that room and, I'm quite a confident person, so no doubt I walked in confidently, but inside I was sort of going, oh. And it literally took the first day and the first night having a few drinks, and you realise no matter how big you are or, how well, organised you are, or, if you have the best team in the world, everyone still has cash flow issues, HR issues, and everyone's really happy to, it's a very, the thing with Icehouse is it's a really open conversation. I was so scared about putting my financials down, and within 24 hours you're just like, right, I need, look at these, tell me where I'm going wrong. And that peer feedback is incredible because they're doing it for really good, genuine reasons.
They haven't got everyone wants everyone to be successful. And that's what's beautiful about it, is everyone wants to see and celebrate success of others, because it doesn't affect anyone. And we all, as I'm not from New Zealand, but I really love the business and the country, and everybody wants this country to be successful. And small, medium businesses are the backbone. As we are looking at right now, everyone knows is in the headline.
And I think, it was just a really great experience, and meeting other people and knowing that there was someone you could pick up the phone and go, this is my issue today. And, I had that last week. as business owners, you know, everyone, I think sometimes the public look at you and think, gosh, it's so cool, you know, it's so easy. Well, it's not. It's, you know, daily challenges, and, you know, we have big disruptions like we're having right now in 2009, and, you know, it's pretty scary. You've got a lot of responsibility, and yeah, I think sometimes it's hard for the public to always know that there's a lot of stress and a lot of thoughtfulness that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it's also, you were, I mean, something I would like to focus on a little bit is that you were two of 25 people, there was only 2 women in there. That is similar-ish to today. We don't have enough women on program. We have more, and I mean, it is slowly growing. Some cohorts have maybe like 5 or 6, but I'd say on average it's around 4 out of the 25, which is something that we have really tried. We really try and push. There's scholarships for women in business that come from actually a pool of money that other owner managers like yourself who've been through the program put into that pool of money. So it isn't the Icehouse's money, really. It's owners' money. But there are scholarships out there. But we're not really sure. I think also, you know, as you said earlier, you had children, and a lot of the time when that takes some time out of your business career. Well, some people, it sounds like you push through, and then doing a program where they're away for 3 nights a week, you know, for a few months can be difficult. But
my children were 1 and 2, then it was quite a nice breakaway. I think the thing with women is, and this won't be everyone, and I don't want to generalize it, but definitely for me, I just didn't feel like I was really meant to be there. I didn't think that I knew my turnover was enough to be there, but I still thought it would be minimal compared to others. And, you know, that I was really aware that I hadn't had any formal training past school or anything. And so I was really scared that I was going to say something stupid. And I don't know whether that's all women, but, you know, I think we're not great at putting ourselves forward and going, actually, look at my business. This is, and these skills and, you know, the vulnerability I have is actually what can make a really great business. And I just don't know that we have enough. I have enough business stories with women that say, it's really hard, but actually, you know, it is a really great thing to have, and you can grow with your family, and you can have all these benefits that, you know, you may not get if you're working 9 to 5 for someone else. Yeah,
and that is something how we can focus. It is, I think, a little bit women in business, but also what I find of small to medium business owners is there is this imposter syndrome. I don't deserve it. I've created this out of nowhere. It's, I was just on a beach and I thought, I'm just going to do this. Well, no, you've got savviness about you to understand that there was an opportunity. And over the years, you've grown the business to be able to be on it. And I think, you know, the directors who are on the program, who facilitate through it, something that they often say is the first kind of block is to get people to understand, hang on a second, will you all just give each other a pat on the back and appreciate that you are successful and you've done it and you employ 20 plus staff or however many and you deserve to be here. I think that when people start to believe in that and then share it with everyone in the group, it can be quite powerful.
Yeah.
For everyone there.
Yeah, I do. I think so. And it just takes a little bit of confidence. And I think once you're in it, you know, if anyone that's thinking about doing it, once you're in it, you just wonder why you hadn't done it sooner.
Yeah. And I mean, especially in the current, this wasn't meant to be just an owner manager program flog, but it's just, we're obviously in a situation where we're trying to encourage people to look at seeking help, not just with the Icehouse, but outside help, because doing it on your own at the minute is not the right thing to do.
I think especially if this is your first major disruption, you know, it's, I hear lots of talk about pivoting, and, you know, if someone had said that to me in 2009 before I did the course, I'd have been going, what are you talking about? I just need to get my sales back up. You know, you're so sort of stuck in trying to work out how you got there and how you're going to get it back to, without sitting there and thinking, right, I need to logically go through my costs and who my customers are and why I haven't got them, and is there another possibility of new customers somewhere else. You know, when it's your first disaster, you know, it's hard to get yourself into that. And you know, the best part of, you know, going back to me doing it then is because they give you all of those tools that say, right, let's take one step at a time and look at, you know, where in your business you're going, you know, was working and what wasn't, what's actually making you money. Because I had loads of different services with loads of different age group of clients, and getting down to that nitty gritty, so that when you start getting back into, you know, people getting back into level 2 and level 1 and getting your business back in, you've got to be really focused on making sure you're going out, you know, you're working hard, the hardest on the stuff that makes you money, because that will help you survive. In the immediate, you know, future.
In the short to medium sense. I mean, I one of the questions, we haven't really followed the questions, so thanks for being so. I sent Miranda loads of questions, they're out the window. We're just having a good old yarn. But I mean, around advice, someone that's going through this now, you've been through a recession, you seem pretty set at the moment, and you've dealt with this as much as you can. And, you know, everyone's hopeful for level 2. And people listen to this now, we don't know what it is. We hope it's obviously good outcomes for businesses. Is what any peak gem of insight? I mean,
look, I was thinking about this morning, and you know, that first you always have that sort of first 24, 48 hours where, you know, you don't get any sleep, or you know, with the GFC, it was sort of a bit more over a long period of time, but it was such a shock, this COVID, the lockdown and everything. And you know, that first 24 hours, and I very rarely don't sleep, I'm a great sleeper, but we weren't on the essential services list when it first came out. And so I did have that night with not a lot of sleep, thinking, you know, how am I going to look after all the staff and how are we going to get through this? But you've really got to try and take yourself out of that stress of like, oh, and by the morning I had a plan. And I honestly had a plan. I've got 2 options, and this is what it's going to look like. And then I didn't panic. That's the other thing. We all tend to think that it's literally the worst thing that's happened to us. I mean, I don't know how many times I've thought that over the last 20 years. And still the next one is still the worst, is to not panic and just take a breath. Because, you know, for us, by midday the next day we were on the list. And so you've got a new plan. So trying not to panic at the first thing you hear. Sometimes I think we do that, and 24 hours later it's really not as bad as we thought, and a week later you're like, right, well, I've got this, you know. So trying not to overwhelm yourself with the worst case scenario. I'm quite an optimistic person, I think, so I've got really good at saying, and you know, right now all my teams are now working with their clients and getting back up to where we were, whereas Joe, the accountant, and I are looking at the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, you know, where our sales going to be, and if we do have a recession, this is, you know, like we're ahead now, you know, this part we've done. So I don't know, it's hard to give you an answer to that, because I know that there'll be some people that are listening that are possum in headlights, and then there'll be other people that have a plan, but they don't know when they can roll it out, because none of us do. But yeah, just in my other little bit, I think, is always look around you. I don't think people do this. If you've got someone that you really admire, or that you think really has a great business, or just pick up the phone and ask them if they'll chat to you. There's no one, I don't know anyone that's ever said no. And if you do get that person, move on. But you know, no is literally the worst thing they can say. And you know, I've now done that. I've got way more confident at it. And the most I've got, you know, is an advice, and free advice, and you know, help is from people that I've thought, I'm just going to ask them if they'll help me, and sit down and yarn. You know, obviously I'm a big talker, so I do work through a lot of the problems through chatting, and
I think that's the best advice you could give. Is people do often, I've found in this role, is that owners sometimes go into their shell and deal with it on their own. And that's why, you know, there's not great mental health sometimes for owners, because they inwardly do everything, and you shouldn't. And it is part of the OMP, is getting people to start sharing and be open. And normally after day 1, people do that after a few wines in the evening, and then day 2. And then by the end of the whole program, 6 months later, you can't shut people up. Um, but, I mean, so this has been so great to speak with you, and I think your honesty and your openness is been really refreshing. So thanks for that. Something I like to do at the end of the podcast is to ask you a few personal questions, if it hasn't been too personal already. So, what's your favourite drink?
Oh, vodka. I'm a vodka girl all day long.
With a cranberry or?
No, so I have vodka with a lot of ice and then half a passion fruit, so pips and all, and then freshly squeezed grapefruit.
Yeah.
And not too much grapefruit. Grapefruit is the key.
So like 70% vodka, 30%.
Because if you put lots of ice in it, it sort of just melts through. And always keep your vodka in the freezer, because then it's like a syrup. It's delicious.
Well, it's kind of I was going to say, what's your favourite food? But if you put like 20% or 30% of passion fruit in it, it's a food as well.
It's a health drink.
Yeah. And have you got any? Do you have a bit of time? You've got 3 kids. You have a business. But you have a bit of time to watch like Netflix and things at the moment.
Yeah. Look, we it's really embarrassing that we have 3 TVs in our house, because the boys are always watching basketball or Fast and Furious, and then Campbell likes to watch the sport. So yeah, I do watch quite a bit of, well, not quite a bit, but I get quite hooked on Ozark and and things like. So I'm quite bad with those sort of binge watching, and then I won't watch anything for quite a while.
That's good. No, it's good. I feel that it's good that you own such a successful business and you're doing the same at me at night. So that makes me feel a bit better.
Yeah. I'm not reading like The Economist or the NBR. I'm sitting in front of TV.
Yeah,
with
good.
my vodka.
Yeah. And fruit, vodka, and in your daily meal. One of your private days. Yeah, exactly. Well, anyone who wants to reach out, post this, get in touch with Grow at the Icehouse, and we'll put you in touch with Miranda as well as the Icehouse if you want. I do think that your experience is, really important for others to listen to. So hopefully we get a lot of people to listen to this. But again, thanks for your honesty, and really appreciate you taking the time with us today.
Anyone that wants to call, I'm absolutely happy. I don't think I have nailed it, but you do get used to these bumps.
Yeah, good. All right, awesome. Well, appreciate the time again, and we'll speak soon. Thanks a lot.
Nice to talk to you.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. I have to stop recording now. Here we go. Okay, see ya. I'll carry on recording. I think it was a bit unfair for me to ask you, a woman on week 6, to do it. I don't think we can include that.
All right.
But one of the things I think would be important to ask is there someone in business that's kind of been quite influential to you over the years, or that you look up to?
Yeah, look, this is someone that everyone will know, and that's sort of why I've chosen him. But he is actually someone that I've always looked up to. Is David Irving. I've been lucky enough to know him since I was 14. I was great friends with his daughters, and even as we were growing up and getting into trouble, and he was just one of those great parents that always listened. He never overreacted. He was just a very solid, great man. And then I was lucky enough, once I started getting to know him in a business capacity with the Icehouse, he just has this incredible ability to listen to people, and really is thinking and understanding what you're saying and seeing opportunities and challenges while you're talking. And I just think that's such an amazing, ability to read or understand what people are saying when they don't even realize they're telling you. And he was the kind of, I've been working with him for the last 5 years, and he's met all my coordinators and staff, and, he'll talk to them and hear the issues there. He's just a very kind, thoughtful, and I think if everyone in business could be like that, it'd be amazing. But he's, I want to be like that. I want to stop thinking about my answers and think more about what people are saying. Yeah, if I could be more like him in that respect, I'd do a lot better, I think.
I think we'd all do a lot better if we was a bit more like David Irving, to be honest. If you don't know who David Irving is, he's the founder of the Icehouse, and obviously we're all quite thankful that he had the idea to create the Icehouse from the Owner Manger Programme, which is now grown. But yeah, no,
I
yeah.
think there's so many owners out there that need to be thankful for what he did. You know, it's an incredible service that, you know, the Icehouse do, and I think we're really, really lucky. Well, it helped me massively.
No, it's good. It's an enjoyable place to work as well, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's always fun.
I'll be glad when I can go back to the Icehouse space and not be in my garage anymore as well, to be honest. That would be quite nice. I'm looking forward to
But you
that.
do always have quite good offices as well. Always
Yeah, we do.
jealous.
Yeah, it's now doubled in size recently. It's grown
Is it?
before the lockdown. Yeah, we've extended it so we can, because the shared space and shared services has grown over the years, and yeah, it's a cool place to work, because it's not just employees of the Icehouse who work there. There's business owners, and every day, you know, I made some great friends who I feel like I work with, but I don't, so I don't have to have those.
Yeah.
You know, meetings every day with them. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's not just the beer tap.
Yeah, I know. They do enjoy the good times as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we're a little bit. I'll stop recording that now.